Hi, Heather.
Hi, Krista.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah,
Good,
I,
good.
I'm doing all right. We've had some beautiful weather out
Awesome.
here on the coast, on the
Nice.
islands.
We've been getting lots of sun, so that makes me happy. And the weather is warming slightly, so that's also
Spring is coming. It
fortunate.
always
It
does.
is. It always does. Speaking of spring, maybe not speaking of spring, it's the best segue I could come up with. You and I were just talking a little bit about the program, our new program that's coming up, Become a Grounded Guide, which
Yeah.
we are maybe slightly unreasonably excited about, but I think that's okay. It's okay to be excited about your own stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been thinking a lot this week about the kinds of people that I would love to have in our program. And I'm not going to lie, I'm thinking like really big people. I want like Zoran Mamdani in it. I want
Yeah.
like, the entire caucus of my NDP party here in Manitoba. Like,
Yeah.
I want like lots of these big names. Um, and I was telling you, it wasn't even so much that I wanted them to come and learn necessarily all of the material that we have, which is really good and
Mhm.
useful. But a lot of it, I think a lot of them are doing to some extent. But what I really want for them is to be in a community that can really be a good container for them and
Mhm.
hold them really well. Um, and as we were talking, it sort of occurred to me that we treat power often the way we treat money. And we treat it from a scarcity mindset that,
Mhm.
there's only so much of it and we have to hoard it or we have to steal it or, we have to strive to get it or compete with each other to get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why I often talk about how the failures of leaders are not just individual failures, but they're failures of community, that we have not been able to hold leaders well in community
Yeah.
to be able to hold them accountable and give them spaces to fail and, allow for times of repair and restoration when needed, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think and that's one of the things that often emerges so much in our programs, the sense of being really well held in community. And
Yeah.
that's what I want for these folks. And then you said automatically, that's how the forest works.
Imagine
And I
that.
went, of course it does. Anyway, so that's you
Yeah.
want to riff on that? You want to talk about the
Yeah.
forest or?
Sure, of course I want to talk about the forest. I always want to talk about the forest. Yeah, I see this a few things in what you're saying. One is we, as a relatively immature population and culture, we do a lot of projection onto our leaders. We project our expectation that they rescue us. We get on the
Yeah,
on the drama triangle with them and expect them to be our rescuers,
yeah,
and we project our expectations that they hold power well, et cetera, without really supporting them. And then we want to tear them down when they don't. And so the pressure that's put on a leader, and then they end up, like you say, in these competitive spaces where they have to fight for power and they have to do end up probably sacrificing a part of their soul in order to hold on to the power that they have in those positions. And it becomes really corrosive and in many situations, and it's really hard for people to maintain their integrity. And I've
mm-hmm.
worked in political spaces, spent a number of years working in federal government where I was rubbing shoulders with the politicians, and I would see them gradually getting consumed by the system that kind of, they would come with these great ideals and then just become kind of part of the system, and that was the only way they knew how to function in the system. And it is heartbreaking. Like, people can be really visionary people and end up in positions of power that corrupt or like, yeah, shut down their
Yeah,
morality in some sense. And so then going to the forest, like, what do we learn from the forest? Well, one of the things is that there's a distribution of power in the forest. When I think of an ecosystem, and we have these models in our kind of scientific understanding, what we were raised with in science class, of what the, like the hierarchy in ecosystems, and there's very often apex predator or at the top of the ecosystem, and so we build hierarchies, but that's
Right.
never the full truth. Like yes, there are apex predators that that do kill other animals in the system for their food. It's a necessary part of survival, but they're always being held in check by the whole ecosystem. Like, they cannot function, they can't abuse their power to a point where they amass resources, for one thing, because if they kill off, like if a wolf kills off too many deer and tries to amass it the way a capitalist would amass those resources, they're
Yeah.
going to run out of deer, and there's going to be a lot of rotten deer that going to destroy the ecosystem of the forest. All those things, it's going to disrupt the whole system if they
Right.
become greedy, if they become corrupted. So they have to be held in check by the system, and they are dependent on the system, and they recognize their dependence even in being predators. And so
Mm.
when I look at the ecosystem and the way the ecosystem, every creature in that ecosystem has access to some power. Like the lowliest part of that ecosystem, the fungi, for example, we don't think of that as an elevated kind of being in the ecosystem, and yet the fungi is running the whole forest. Like, it's under the
Hmm.
mycelium under the soil is connecting all the trees to each other and moving resources under the soil, and it's down there in the rotten, among the rotten logs. Like, it's in the kind of lowliest place, but it
Yeah.
is holding the forest together. And so when I think about the ways that power is distributed in the forest, and I think, how can we as humans go back to our human nature, because we are actually part of the forest, we are
Yeah.
part of the ecosystem. How do we go back to that systemic understanding of the ways that we benefit from weaving ourselves into the whole system, and not corrupting our power, and not allowing power to run rampant, not making it just a competitive thing, but making it a distributed thing where we're all able to claim our own power in whatever space we hold in it. I just think that there's room for us to really disrupt the way we've built this understanding of power. And then, like you say, coming along, like, in a sense, there's kind of an accountability system in the forest that you're sort of talking about. It's like, how do we come alongside the leaders that we've appointed into those positions of power? How do we come alongside them, hold them in check, hold them accountable, and give them moral support, and give them a community so that their power doesn't run unchecked? And in what ways are we doing that, for example, with our politicians? I don't know of any ways that that's actually happening. And I would love to see it happen. I would love to see, the
Mm.
minute you get elected, you also get appointed to be held in, I don't know, a council of grandmothers or something like that. Like, you have to, and it's what you and I do like, with the members of our team. We check
Yeah.
in with them and say, do you have spaces of support? Do you have community support around you so that you can show up in this work fully supported? And that should be happening on all levels of government. Like, you don't get to be in a position of leadership unless you are supported by some kind of community that will hold you accountable, that will hold you in check, and all of those things are in place.
Well, in a community that is not, yeah, that doesn't actually give a shit, excuse my French, about your power necessarily, your perceived power over, right? Like
Yeah,
they are there for you and to come alongside you to ensure that you are, yeah, like you say, within a system that is mutually beneficial for
yeah,
everybody, right? And that it's not about the power at the end of the day.
right. No, we
The
just want
power
to
is
make sure
simply
you're
in
doing
service of, that's right.
exactly. You are contributing, you're doing what is in service to the collective, and you're doing that in the
Exactly.
best way that you can, in the most
Yeah.
supported way that you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And before you come at us, we know that Indigenous communities have been saying this for centuries.
Yeah,
We know.
yeah.
And we agree. And we are saying, yes, listen.
Well, and one of the people that talks about this that we've woven into our work, his work, is Tyson Yunkaporta from
Yeah,
Australia, who's an Indigenous teacher in Australia. And he talks about building, instead of hierarchies, we build heterarchies. Is that what it's called? Yeah,
hierarchies. Yeah,
where there is a movement in the distribution of power, and it's not
yeah.
just a stable system, but when one type of power is needed, that power can move in to influence the system, and it's a
Hmm.
dynamic system of distributed power. And
Yeah.
I want to envision those kinds of things in our systems.
Me too. Me too. And we do talk about all of that stuff in our program, Become a Grounded Guide. So if you want to learn more and get more of this in community, because we
Yeah,
always build community into all of our work,
yeah.
um, consider joining us. Like, even if you're not a politician, even if you are just, a grandma going, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to contribute. Like, especially you, come join us because
Yeah,
you can be one of those councils of grandmothers if you're a
yeah,
young person who's just getting started or who's already involved in activism work and you're looking for spaces that can hold you, like, come join us because
yeah,
that's what we're building. That's what we're trying to create. That's what we're trying to support.
yeah.
We're
You and
we're
I,
we're kind of done with.
every every time you and I see somebody that's doing really brilliant work, and we think
Mhm.
maybe they're not well enough supported, like you and I are like, how can we show up, and
Yeah.
how can we email them and say we're going to come and stand along? Like, it's like
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
minute I see that rising up, like someone like AOC, who's
Totally.
Alexandra, I can't pronounce her last name, but um
Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah.
oh, yeah. If someone like that is just so grounded and wise and
Yeah.
strong, and I'm hopeful, I trust that she has a good support system, but it's like I just want to create systems where that's expected. Anybody like that
Yeah.
with vision, with some power, automatically in our culture is surrounded by a circle of people that are really solid in supporting that
Totally.
person.
Totally. Yeah. So if you've got, big sister energy, like Heather and I obviously do, um, come hang out with us because
Yeah,
this is the stuff we're trying to dream into existence.
yeah,
We're done with systems that are only concerned about self-sustaining the system and not actually being in service to the human and other than human world.
yeah,
We're past the point where that has to matter to us more than
yeah,
than money or power. Like,
yeah.
the world has been screaming at us for a while now, and
And
we
we
need to step
do,
up.
we have the imagination
We
needed to
do, we
dream
do.
other systems into being. And that's
Yes,
something I cannot stress enough, because I see so many discouraged people in despair, and I get it, because the world
me
is
too.
just feels so messed up right now. But it's also this opportunity, this possibility. I see so many creative, like innovative people doing new things
Hmm.
and trying to recreate our systems in a much more grounded and compassionate, caring way. And I think, get behind those people and let's dream something new into being, because
Absolutely.
we created these systems. We can also just dismantle them and create new ones.
Totally. Absolutely, we can. Absolutely, we can. I agree. We have 6 modules on offer. You can sign up for one or two or all of them. The only session you can't sign up for without doing the others is module 6. So if that module in particular is really interesting to you, you will have to sign up for the rest of them. But we have tried to keep our pricing as reasonable as possible and accessible as possible. We have 3 different tiers that you can choose from. Um, and if you're still struggling, give me a shout, send me an email, and we'll try to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we want all the people.
Yeah.
Not that we're being greedy, but we're really excited and
But
we think
hey,
we
we
should try.
would also be really grateful if you send this to your local politician. If there's
Yes.
someone that's working in
Yeah.
your political system you think is just, doing really good work, send them this video or send them a link to our Grounded
Yeah.
Guide program, because we
We're
want to
looking
we want
for
to bring those people in.
politicians. We're looking for famous directors who may or may not have directed Heated Rivalry. uh, Internet influencers who are doing good work. We'll take them too. Uh, your
and
grandma that you love a lot.
activists.
Bring her
Yeah.
in for
We
sure.
want the kick-ass
Your
elders,
bestie.
the elders that are
Yeah.
willing to be out there and do brave things. And
Your
yeah,
non-binary bestie who's doing all sorts of great,
yeah,
cool work. We want them. We want your super cool granddad. Bring him in too. We
yeah,
want them all.
yeah, exactly.
This program's for everyone. So
Yeah.
that's our pitch. And that's what we'll leave you with today. Um, that's all.
Just
Do you have
come,
anything else, Heather?
just come join us.
Just come join us.
We're gonna have fun
Links
together.
to,
That's what I want
oh my
people to know is we're
gosh.
gonna have fun together. It's gonna be
We have been moving towards joy since we opened the center. And it's
yeah.
kind of really cool to see that progression because I remember that you were challenged by one of our participants. They were like, Heather, where's the joy? And it was like this. We went,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where
Yeah.
is the joy?
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, so we have spent the last 5 years
Yeah.
hunting her down. And I think we are getting close.
We're ready to jump onto her bandwagon.
You betcha. You betcha. So come join us and we'll catch you next time.